And a pleasant good Wednesday evening. I'm Chase Miller, and welcome to our final edition of the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show here in the month of October. Coming up here on the program, we'll hear from Coach Jason Monilaws as they welcome in Napoleon Gackle-Streeter, their Imperials, to Hankinson on Saturday afternoon for a 9-man quarterfinal round playoff game in North Dakota. Also, Tanner Carlson and the Wyndmere Lidgerwood Warbirds earned the number 1 seed heading to the District 1 Volleyball Tournament. We'll hear from Coach Carlson, and we'll have coverage of the District 1 Volleyball Tournament beginning on Thursday in Foreman. From there, Kirk Zink of Hillsborough Central Valley. He was named the Class B Girls State Coach of the Year. Also talking about how that girls program won a state championship as well this past weekend in Jamestown. We'll hear from John Clark Jr. as the Thunderbirds are making their way back to the Fargodome for a Section 8A football championship next Thursday. We'll have that for you here on your live event and KRJB and KRJM radio as well. Janna Engel and the Ada-Borup-West Cougars are playing for a Section 8A volleyball championship on Friday night. We'll hear from her from the Cougars' perspective, and our senior spotlight is Chloe Hall from Northern Cass. Then and more to come here. Let's get into our first conversation, talk a little Hankinson Pirates football. Joining us here from the Hankinson Pirates is their head coach, Jason Monilaws, as Hankinson into the quarterfinal round, and more importantly, hosting another home playoff football game in Hankinson, as well as they will welcome in Napoleon Gackle-Streeter here on Saturday afternoon. Before we talk about the Imperials here, Money, let's recap the opening round win against North Prairie. Just kind of what did you see from your team to find a way to gut one out in 4 quarters of football, but more importantly, continue to advance here in this postseason run in 9-man football?
Yeah, well, the first dynamic within this game is the fact that us down here, the Hankinson staff and the North Prairie staff, are pretty good friends. We hang out together a lot at different coaching functions. We're always at team camp together and things like that. So that dynamic, it was fun in that sense because if you lose to some buddies, that's good. You're not going to feel so bad about it that way. But we felt pretty confident that we were the better team and so forth coming into this game. And that North Prairie was pretty much at full strength too, but after their game from St. John's, if you watch that was definitely not the team that came down here and played. And so we kind of knew that this is going to be a little bit different game than that St. John's game was, and that kind of wet, misty night up there. So no, it was different dynamic that way. We prepared for what they're going to do. I mean, they're run first. Their power, the quarterback, the option. They have very good running back. Probably like a second team stater kind of kid that runs hard and fast. And we knew we had to wrap him up if we were going to have the success we wanted. We wanted to be able to shut that down. And I think we executed pretty well. I mean, once we got through that first quarter, we were talking off air about walking on eggshells. That both sides were pretty tight, and then what that idea of the finality of football could be that game. These kids are. I don't know if they were overcautious or if they were just so nervous that they just couldn't relax and play the game the way it needed to be played. And I'm leaning towards probably more of that.
As you look at your opponent here and getting that first taste of playoff football for some of these kids this year, others have been able to be part of it last year as well, Money. But what's the message to this team moving forward now that you did play a playoff game? You understand kind of what playoff football is a little bit different than regular season. You see someone new. For the first time, you're going out of region this year as well, playing a brand new team that you don't really have a lot of film on or anything of that nature compared to a Maple River who you played consistently or a Lemoore, who you played consistently here, Money. So as you turn the script to the Imperials, what's the message to the guys this week as you get ready for our quarterfinal round matchup?
Well, we talked to the kids yesterday a little bit about it, and we're going to have some film after school. We're going to watch some stuff on Napoleon. And what I see in Napoleon is a very young group of kids that are playing football like they would during recess. They're out there, they're slinging the ball around, they're having fun. They're getting to their blocks, they're getting to the tackles. It's like the pursuit routes are great for that. The quarterback is very gifted. He can sprint out, run around, throw the ball well. very similar to Ray in that sense. He has some good kids that he can throw to. They don't run a lot. Right now, you look at their evolution from the first couple games to we'll say the last three regular season games and into that game up in Alexander is a totally different team. The coaches are doing a great job out there with those young men, and it's a very I don't want to call it dynamic, but it's dynamic in a way that they get in space and then they can really make you look dumb on the defensive side. And so that's something that we're going to have to emphasize too this afternoon to the kids.
And the one thing too from that region, all those teams was able to find a way to win from their respective region. Obviously, from your region, money region one, three of the four teams found themselves. So two of the beasts, if you want to say a nine-man football from the polls, if you want to take any, a credit to that from the media to what we saw in the opening round. So safe to say that just like you, they have also had some really good competition this year with the Kidder counties, the Grant County Flashers, and Linton HMBs of the world. So when you got two teams that are well seasoned, what's it going to take, to get a four-quarter victory here come Saturday afternoon?
I look at it this. Our boys, the more playoff experience you have as a player, the better you can settle into it with your mindset and where you need to be and how you have to win in the playoffs. And this is our third year with our seniors in the playoffs. Last year we saw a little bit of glimpse of what we could possibly do in the playoffs before we got over to Lemoore and were completely destroyed. But it's different this year too because we have that four core of seniors, and obviously led by Ray Sean, who is just a dynamic player. And then the junior group too. There again, now this is their second dab into playoffs. So I experience is important, but you also got to, as I alluded to earlier, the danger of just a bunch of kids having fun playing football. That can be dangerous. So no, experience is very important. You know how to handle the momentum shifts because football is all about different momentum shifts and so forth. And how you weather that in the playoffs is a big thing. And I believe, or at least I hope I'm believing that we will be able to handle those cycles when, they're going to score. It's just like, well, if they score, we got to score, we got to keep ahead of them in scores and so forth and get some stops as well. But yeah, it's the leadership of the senior group is something that we're going to lean on.
You go through, and we were talking as well, first time since 2016 in the quarterfinals, an opportunity for the first time since 2009 to get to the semifinal round where you made it all the way to the Coda Bowl that year as well, money. But just what would it mean from a program standpoint, from this year's football team standpoint, obviously to pick up a quarterfinal round win and be one of the final four teams that's left standing in nine-man football across the state, money?
You know what? We actually talked about 2009 after our game with North Prairie last weekend, right at the end of the game, that what we're doing here is pretty special. And we talked about it one more time here yesterday, and then it's like we're done. Okay, it's 2025. We're done with 2009. We're not going to talk about that team that it's about this team. So the focus is on that, and yeah, if we're lucky enough to get a win Saturday and we get into that semifinal, yeah, it's going to be something pretty special. It doesn't happen down here very often. It's a cycle thing. I know I've talked to you about that over the different times we visited, and in small schools, when you can kind of feel it, the vibe of, well, maybe we are a pretty good football team. And then you start believing that you're a pretty good football team. And with that, though, you got to also include that, well, we're playing freshmen. I mean, we're starting a freshman. We're playing sophomores, we're playing juniors, and we're playing seniors. We don't have enough to just say, well, we can play our upper two levels. And so that really brings a different dynamic within this community, because it's not just the seasoned kids that are playing. It's a rookie from a freshman. That's a big part of this, and so that really kind of ties the whole community together that way. And it's been fun, and yeah, it's a big deal. There's no other way to put it, especially down here.
Money, just one or two more questions for you. We'll talk about some of the players. Rayshawn Earl, obviously, it's single game, career game, single season records, have kind of came and went with Rayshawn in a good way of what he's been able to do. But you mentioned a couple other seniors as well that are vital cogs, whether it's, being leaders, whether they are on the football field, the classroom, or just the practice squad as well. But a guy like Parker Falk, a guy like a Mason Mauk, and someone like Gunnar Ilg, I know we could talk about Rayshawn for day and rightfully so. But what do those other three seniors, do that the common fan doesn't see, throughout the season here, Money?
Yeah, well, Parker Falk is kind of I don't want to say the firecracker of the crew, or the kid that's going to go out there and just be full of adrenaline and screaming and hollering. No, Parker has been that leader since he started, of what toughness is and how you play the game of football. The Falk boys that I've had have had one work ethic, and it's you're either all in or you're not. Okay. And if you're not, you might as well get the heck out of here. And with Parker, that's the way he plays. That's the way he is in school. That's the way he is with everything he does. And with him out there, that's a big part of it, because he's not a rah-rah guy. He's the guy that's going to say, okay, guys, come on. And much like what Ray is too. Ray's not a rah-rah guy. And Mason, now he is more of a rah-rah guy. His emotions are sometimes on his shoulders and so forth. And sometimes we don't want that way, because it can get you into a spot you don't want to be in. But with what he's done, and his helping of the younger kids on the old line has been very, very vital to us. I talk to him all the time before the game. I remember, lead these kids, lead these kids, lead these kids. And he said, okay, coach, with that aspect of it. And Gunny, if you would have looked at Gunny last year and Gunny this year, it's two different kids. He's gotten stronger, he's gotten faster, and he's gotten more confident about, yeah, I can actually do this. Now, him out there, he's basically a one-way player. He plays on the offensive side. He doesn't get a lot in defense, but he's on the offense. And when he's out there, he works his butt off. And he's also another one of those type of leaders that will, okay, you need to do this, or you got to do that. And he's always doing things like that in practice, helping the kids out to make sure that you're in the right fit and you're working your technique the right way and stuff too. So those and Ray's presence obviously is just Ray. You just have to see him, and you look at his eyes, and he's there. He's there to be that kid. So that group of seniors are a solid part of our leadership. And then the other kid really that we should mention is Cade Hentz. He is definitely the field general on defense. I mean, that kid, he's there. He's zoned in. Sometimes he gets himself a little bit too aggressive and so forth, but he's the guy out there that when the kids look on the defense, that he calls it, and then we go. So no, it's good to have that leadership from a senior group.
Without question, especially when you can find a way to win a football game in the playoffs, not having to worry about scoring too many points in that win over North Prairie, 38-8. Talking about Cade there as well. Last thing, Money, that before I let you go, I know I talked to you earlier in the season about something you wanted to see from this football team. What would be a trade as the year continues? Now that we're in the month of October, going to play football in November here, Money. How has this team evolved from, August training camp to where we are now in the quarterfinals of this 9-man playoff run?
I would say the one thing that is kind of defining us is the explosiveness of our offense. If you follow our scores or seeing us play, Hayden Bull's done a great job with the offense, and it's dynamic. It is. We have different we have different inserts every week. There's different packages that we put in. And the idea is I told him, I said, this is what I want out of you. And it's helped, no doubt about it. Because I mean, if you have the ability to push the ball fast, and get moving, you can score a lot of points. But the bad, the hindsight of that is that, well, it doesn't take very long sometimes to score. That clock is your enemy or it's your friend. And sometimes it can be that enemy because of our explosiveness with our offense. And then you're like, oh geez, now we're going to get ourselves in a foot race if we can't step up for on the defensive side. So no, I think it's that we're a pretty explosive football team. I think if you talk to the other coaches, I think they would say that would probably be the first thing they'd say. You're looking at Hankinson, it's like all the explosiveness of their offense, and it's like New Rockford too. Holy cow, they can score on every play.
Money, as always, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck hosting the Imperials coming up Saturday afternoon in Hankinson. Should be a fun one, and looking forward to seeing the Pirates and the Imperials coming up here on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
That again, Jason Monilaws with us here on the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show, head coach for the Hankinson Pirates.
Hillsborough Economic Development Committee supports businesses in the Hillsborough community in the form of loans and grants. Experience Hillsborough. There's more at 104.
Join us here from the Wyndmere Lidgerwood Warbirds as they earned the #1 seed heading into the District 1 tournament. That is, again, for the Warbirds head coach is Tanner Carlson, as they will go up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon here tomorrow in Foreman for the quarterfinals. Tanner, let's just talk about the Warbirds season in general here this year. A 21-11 overall record, unblemished in district play. Just what did you really see from your team that allowed you to earn that #1 seed here entering the districts this season?
Yeah, I think coming into this season, there's a lot of unexpected victories that we had. We started the year kind of slow. I think we were like 6-8 at one point, and then we've able to end our season on a hot streak. Whenever you have a brand new team, we only had one returning starter. You never really know how it's going to go. So at the start of the year, we were kind of off to a slow start. We had to figure some stuff out. We changed our offense up a bunch. Then once we figured stuff out, I think the girls were really clicking and we got it figured out and we're able to take the #1 seed.
As you go from here, have you talked to the girls much about what districts to regions to a qualifier to state, all that stuff is, or now that they've kind of done it a little bit with basketball here? Because from a volleyball perspective, it's been a while since we've had districts around this neck of the woods here, Tanner. So how much have you had that conversation with the girls, or is it we really don't need to have that conversation because they've kind of done it now for 2 years in a way, for basketball?
Yeah, I think there's a couple that play basketball, but a majority of the team are kind of questioning how it'll work. So that's something we've gone over, how it's not if you lose, you're done anymore for districts at least. But just stressing how postseason, it's whoever's hot at the right time. Seeding doesn't matter. Everyone's record is 0-0 now. So we got to show up and play.
As you go through this particular team, if someone hasn't seen the Warbirds this season here, Tanner, that's going to watch in person in Foreman for the first time or on any of the matches that we'll have on your live event here from Foreman as well for the district tournament, what do you hope they take away from watching the Warbirds here as a club?
I think we're a scrappy bunch. We're a young group where a lot of players it's their first year on varsity. But as the season's gone on, we've really grew as a team. We've figured a lot of stuff out. So I think when we're all clicking, it's really fun to watch. I think we can compete with anyone. I tell the girls that we're always the underdog. We want to have that underdog mentality just because we're the 1 seed. We don't want to get too high, too ahead of ourselves. So we got to still show up and compete. And I think for those that come watch us at districts, it'll be fun to watch.
For one of your players here, your middle hitter in Maya Kackman, just what has she been able to do for the club this season here, Tanner?
Yeah, Maya's been our team leader in kills and blocks almost every game. She is at somewhere around 330 kills on the season. Great leader. Whenever she's in, we know that we have a chance to get a kill almost every possession. I think when teams scout us, that's the first person they look at, try to triple block, double block, or whatever to take away from Maya. But she's really improved at switching up her hits too. Like she's been really good at tipping, placing balls where she needs to go, not just kind of swinging as hard as she can anymore, but she's been a lot more intelligent about where to place her balls this year.
There's been a couple of really quality players that came through the program as of late here, Tanner, with Emerson Johnson. Folks remember Pitts as well. Those are just a couple of a lot of really good, savvy players in the last handful of years where you've been knocking on the door in the old two-class system. You know, you've been right there in the semis. You've been able to get to a third place and finish third place in the region. What do you think is something that's been consistent for this team to even now navigate a new division here this season to get to where you are again, another 20-win season here for the Warbirds and counting?
Yeah, I think those alumni really set a good example for these younger girls when they were seniors. These girls that are on varsity now were freshmen, eighth graders watching them. So I think they really set like a new way of doing volleyball in Wyndmere and Lidgerwood. So I think they helped a lot. I think the girls learned a lot from them just in practice and watching them. But yeah, it's fun to watch, see it continue. You know, we were never the one seed those years, but we were always competitive in regions, you know, knock off some of those big schools. We got third place the last 2 years in a row in the region. So I think these girls see that and they want to do better than how we've done in the previous years.
From a competitive standpoint, just take your team out of it here, Tanner. Just assess what the district and what the region kind of feels like a little bit this season for fans that, again, are new to it. Districts, you got to win 2 out of 3 before you lose 2, so to speak, to get to the regionals. You'll figure out what your seed line is there on November the 10th in Jamestown. If you're fortunate enough to win the region, you go to state. If you finish second or third, you'll play in a qualifier to still have a chance to get to state here, Tanner. But if you take your team out of it, just kind of what is Region 1, District 1 all about this season in your estimation?
Yeah, I told the girls at the start of the year it's possible to have 3 teams from our region go to state. I mean, who knows if that'll happen? I know Region 2 is also very tough, but I think our district is very like even. I think anyone can beat anyone. You know, earlier in the season in non-district games, we've lost to Richland, we've lost Sargent County, we've lost to Hankinson. But as the season went on and we improved, we were able to get the ones that counted. We've also played teams in the other district in our region. Medina's great. They swept us. I know Linton's great. I haven't really seen them play yet, but they've got a lot of good teams over there. So it's going to be a very competitive region, I feel like, and hopefully we can get there, get out of our district, hopefully in the championship, but we'll see what happens.
Final thing that I have for you, Tanner, we talked about the players. How about the coaches, yourself? How are you navigating the district tournament for the first time? What are some things that you're thinking of? Because normally at this time of the year in the old 2 classes, you still had about a week and a half, 2 weeks of regular season to figure out where you're going to be in the seed line. Are you playing in a first round game? Do you get that buy into a quarterfinal, in a region tournament? So as a coach's perspective, how does it change a little bit the course of the season with districts, starting a week and a half, 2 weeks earlier than the normal quote unquote postseason was in the old 2-class system here for Region 1?
Yeah, I think having the district tournament earlier will help us because this week today I gave the girls off because this week we had 3 games in 4 days. So I think having like a consistent schedule of having a lot of games in a week will really help us in the district tournament next week. But yeah, I think just having last year when we had all that dead time, it kind of had a weird flow to the season at the end because we'd have to wait and wait. But now it's kind of like done with games this week and we're still playing next week. So I think it flows really nice.
Hey, Tanner, thanks so much for your time. Looking forward to seeing you in Foreman, and best of luck here for the Warbirds throughout the postseason.
All right. Thank you, Chase.
That again, Tanner Carlson, head coach for Wyndmere Lidgerwood, will continue with more on the Coaches Show around the corner.
If you have concern or questions about the mental health of yourself or a loved one, Trail District Health Unit's Credible Mind platform offers convenient and confidential resources to help inform you about mental well-being. Credible Mind offers 21 different assessments to guide you in your mental health journey from sleep quality and burnout to anxiety and depression. To get started today and learn about your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health, visit traildistricthealthunit.crediblemmind.com.
Welcome to the city of Hillsboro, a small town with big opportunity. Here, you don't just find a house, you find a quality of life. Safe neighborhoods, affordable living, and a community that treats your family like their own. Build your dream home with lots starting at an attractive price and enjoy homeowner incentives and grant funds to help make it yours. Come live, work, and thrive in Hillsboro, where you don't just live, you belong.
I've got Kirk and Jensen Zink joining me here from the Hillsborough Central Valley cross country team, and take me through just the performance that it was on Friday, that you guys were able to capture a girls' state title, and just some good individual accolades as well.
Yeah, it was an odd one. We knew, I had visited with a lot of guys, a lot of people that had asked how we anticipated things going, and we knew it was going to be ugly. It was going to be close. Bowman has a loaded team. Their fourth, fifth, sixth runners are really, really good, which is a little bit spooky in the distance running world, because you got to score 5, and we knew with certainty that we were really good at the top. But then beyond there, we've got girls that are our 3, 4, 5, 6 that could be number one on a lot of teams. But in a year like this, for as good as Bowman is, we couldn't go in and have average days. And unfortunately, we had a couple average days, and that made things awfully interesting, awfully spooky. You get out onto that course with no Wi-Fi and everybody's trying to run math in their head. It made for an interesting 10, 15, 20 minutes to try to get final calculations organized. That's for sure.
And then Jensen, just saying for you, just take me through the day, how it went leading up to, and then figuring out that you guys did in fact win a state championship on the girls' side, and anything on the guys as well.
Yeah, I would say right away at the beginning of the day, for those kids that typically get super, super stressed before, it was a different mood for the day. Bus ride down, everyone was just in a very good mood. Everyone was ready to get going, and yeah, you could tell when they got out on the course. Like Kirk said, we had a few off days, but like we've said before, if they fall way, way back, then we don't win. But yeah, our 1-2, Caroline and Claire, those two are just, they're kind of in a league of their own. It's hard to talk about them just because they are so good. They're good beyond what I've ever dealt with and what I've ever seen. But then yeah, going back, our third, Kayla, she had a good day. Probably not as good as she wanted, but like we've told her before, 7th grader, 7th in the state. You got 5 years left, and you can't be too mad about a top 10 finish. Our fourth runner, Jade Haybeck, MVP of the state tournament for sure. She was supposed to be our 6th, sometimes our 7th and our 8th, but she came in when she needed to. She saw that Aslan wasn't having a great day and saved the day. I don't even know what her rank was coming in, probably in the 30s about, and she finished 24th, and she fell one spot back, we wouldn't have had that tiebreaker. So awesome to have that. Lily and Aslan. Lily had a good day. I don't know if she was exactly super pleased with it, but that's kind of about where she was ranked. So she finished where we needed her to be. Aslan didn't have the best day, but like we said before, you just come back stronger and try to figure it out next year. Boys side was kind of interesting. This was a year we didn't have 3 kids that could be all-state. We had about 1 all-state kid going in, and they kind of knew that, which it's not fun to be watching the girls get all these all-state kids and all-region kids, and then you have 1, but sometimes that's just life, and we always say that this is kind of a rebuilding year for the boys. We've got a really good sophomore group, and those guys can be super, super good, but yeah, Nico, I think, wanted to be top 10, fell out of that, but like we've said before, you're not going to look back in 10 years and remember your exact place. You're just going to remember you're an all-state kid, so nothing to hang your head about.
Absolutely. And yeah, Nico was able to get it was top 20, definitely, that he was on the podium for that, and just talk to me about his performance, his season that he's been able to put together, and he was also nominated for Senior Athlete of the Year. I want to say was one of the nominations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for Nico, he did have a great season. Maybe not again an ideal finish for him. He maybe had the potential to be top 10, but on the same token, in distance running like that, he had the potential to be 25th to 35th too. So if the goal going in is to be an all-state kid and to be an all-state runner, he accomplished that. He ran really well at regionals the weekend before. Probably the best I've seen him look in his career, the most efficient all the way through a 5K race that I've seen him look, in the 6 years he ran for us. You mentioned the senior athlete stuff. We had two of the best seniors in recent Class B history, that's for sure. Two of them that were just unbelievable. When you're state champ and a couple time defending runner up is not even your senior athlete of the year, it's a pretty loaded senior group. So to be part of that even is awfully special. He had some injury issues throughout the year, but he's not a kid that's going to make excuses, whine about it much. He took a couple meets off with some recovering issues that he had throughout the summer, preparation for it. And actually that maybe helped him a little bit, a little rested and refreshed and ready to go for the postseason. And like I said, ran a really nice regional race a couple weeks ago. Maybe not as solid this past weekend in Jamestown as he had hoped, but again, like Jensen said, you're going to get 20 years from now and you're going to remember that you were a 5-time all-region kid and a 2-time all-state kid, and you're not going to remember the specific numbers unless it's the number one. Above and beyond that, it is what it is, and he had a terrific year, or a terrific career, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of accolades to go around for both these teams. And on the girls' side, even though Kayla might have dropped back a spot or two from where she would like, you got 3 junior hires in the top 7, which just seems pretty unbelievable. So talk about just the core athletes that you've got to this girls group.
Yeah, I would say when your top 4 is made up of 3 8th graders and a 7th grader, you've got some pretty good talent coming up. I mean, I don't even know if you can call it talent when you've got a group like that. It's unreal to be able to coach them. But at the same time, they know that they're going to have to work as they get older, and it's not just gonna always come super easy. But with that group of girls, they know that, and I think all of those 4 at least, Claire, Caroline, Kayla, and Jade, were at almost every summer practice. They worked their butts off all summer, hoping to get into the weight room a little bit this year. Because like we said, kids like that, if they put on 5 pounds of muscle, it's going to be a different ball game by the time next year rolls around. But yeah, when you can have that many girls and middle schoolers making up the top 7, I think out of the top 7, there was 4 or 5 8th and under. So North Dakota as a whole is going to be pretty dominant middle school wise, and it's going to be tough for these girls as they get older, just because everyone's going to be maturing and growing up and getting better. And but I believe that those middle schoolers that we have can be dominant, and they know they can work hard and accomplish big things in the future.
And I heard several times throughout that day on Friday from yourself, Kirk, and then just others just saying this Bowman County and HCV top 2 teams right here might be the most powerful 2 teams that we've seen at the top of this sport in a long time. Just speak to what we saw this year and how good both of these teams really were.
I would still argue that to death, that's 2 of the best teams maybe in cross country history. And I'm not in any way patting ourselves on the back for that. There's a lot of luck that goes into it. There's a lot of talent that goes into it. But on the same token, you take our 5, 6, 7, you take Bowman's at least 5, if not 6. We didn't run perfect, tied for a state title, and still scored the fewest points we've ever scored. We won our 10th state title in the last 15 years and have never scored 61 points or less. So to have 2 teams do that and then win by, I don't even know what third place was, win by 70, 80 points, whatever the gap was. It speaks to how talented those two teams were, and I talked to the Bowman coaches a couple times actually on that day, right before the boys race, right after the boys race. And I said, I would love to rerun that race sometime when our top six is perfectly healthy and runs perfect. And they're in the same boat. I'd just like to see that. Last year when we saw those guys, like I said, they had a girl or two that had a rough day, definitely an off day. We had a little bit of the same thing on Friday. It'd be nice to run that when everybody's fresh and healthy and runs terrific, just to see how things shake out. But on that note, we've fortunately come out on top both of the last couple of years, and we'll take it. But again, that's nothing in any way against Bowman. Man, they've got just an absolutely loaded team, and they graduate nobody, just like we did, and I don't know if that's refreshing for the sport or disheartening for the sport or what it is, but those two teams are going to be really, really good next year. Like Jensen mentioned, it is going to get more difficult for both of those teams for a couple reasons. As they get older, it does just get to be more work, and there's more pressure too. There's more teams gunning for you. Claire went through her 7th grade season and got to be the underdog shooting for everybody. Well, this year she had the target on her back the whole time. And whether you feel that stress or that pressure or not, doesn't matter. It's still there. And everybody knows who the teams to beat are. And those are the meets they want to go find. And, the events that they look for, the races that they look for. So it's going to be fun, but on the same token, there's changes that need to be made. And I've told a couple people, I said, I think we won a girls' state title last weekend, despite the coaching that went into the last couple of weeks. I don't think we did a very good job in preparing our kids. We just weren't fresh. We weren't sharp, and there's some things we need to do different going forward. But came into the year, everybody looked terrific. We had a great early season, peaked a little bit early, I think, and there's some things we can do to fix that. And those are easy fixes on our end, but kids did absolutely everything we could ask throughout the year, that's for sure.
Great to hear. And is there anything else that you guys would like to get out there just before we put a bow on this season?
I'm sure Jensen does.
Come to my head, and Kirk kind of touched on it a little bit, but all props to Bowman as well. I mean, to be able to score 61 points at the state meet is pretty phenomenal. I mean, you see that occasionally on the boys' side with Bowman and Newtown. They've done it in the past, but they score super low at the state meet, the boys do. But to have 5 girls that can place in the top 30 at the state meet is just absolutely bonkers. And both teams are going to be very, very good. And yeah, just all props to Bowman. They're awesome as well.
Awesome.
Second, probably the second best team in history, truly. And they got second at the state meet. It's just a very dominant year for girls cross country. And yeah.
I said I said a couple times on Friday that I don't want to say I was whiny, but I'll tell you what, I felt grumpy because I thought we were prepared and almost ready to run flawless on Friday. But our goal going in was at least 4 all-state runners and 2 trophies on each side. Or excuse me, 1 trophy on each side, 2 trophies total. And we got that. We had 3 all-state girls, we had 1 all-state boy. Our boys came through 5th, which I don't know if that was realistic or not. It was a goal we had. If we ran absolutely flawless, we might have been 4th. But again, like the individual stuff, if we had run poor, we could have been 7th or 8th. So to go home with a boys team trophy, a girls team championship, all-state boy, 3 all-state girls, you quit whining about that kind of stuff in a hurry, considering that any other program would absolutely love that and would get real sick of listening to you complain about it. And we certainly weren't complaining, but just for a standpoint of selfish and from an individual accolade standpoint, I'd love to see 5 all-state girls on our team, 6 all-state girls, the way that those kids worked this year. So terrific year on our end. And again, couldn't be more appreciative of how hard those kids worked.
Absolutely. A lot of hardware back in HCV after the meet on Friday. Coaches, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
That's Kirk and Jensen Zink join us here on the Your Live Event Coaches Show.
This week's Dakota Heritage Bank Crowning Moments brings you highlights from your live event broadcasts, celebrating standout performances and achievements from our local athletes. These are the moments that inspire us all. Moments of determination, teamwork, and success. Dakota Heritage Bank, helping dreams come true. Sharing our heritage, sharing our future.
Last time out from the Borough perspective, Brink trying to do so. Jelmstead, this one goes off the backboard, played, and eventually free-balled across. Kittleson to Collins, near side. Here goes Sanders, right-handed kill for the point. This one will go to Theogis. Theogis on the Wildcat. Theogis gets the first down. He's got daylight, and Theogis is gone. 33 yards for Miles Theogis.
Here's Bull's serve. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a service ace by Bull.
Side out service here on the way for Brill. Keller will play that one to McQuillan, set near sideline Kittleson. Jumpstead will play now to Jenin, set to the outside. Here's a point that gets hammered by Anderson.
They've gone to the air against the Broncos and dropping back. The Broncos going to miss the tackle as they had a couple men in the backfield. He throws it downfield, has the man, and that's caught. Touchdown. So Jackson Amdahl avoids the rush by the Broncos.
Welsh alongside with Foster DeVolt. Service. Thompson. Bussy set outside. Preen puts it down.
It is still match point for Devil's Lake. Hubner serving. Johnson off hands and out of play, and that's that.
Luco serve. MacArthur over to MacArthur. Gordon back to Kennedy MacArthur. The hit dug out by Luco in the back row. Bright box setting it up. Here comes Lauren Kopang, dug out by Kennedy MacArthur. They set up in the middle. Izzy Schlicks attack blocked by Peterson, and Adara Peterson return to sender on that one.
6-0 run potentially. Keller, the back right. Burrows set to the outside. Anderson with the power tip play by McQuillan. Bump on the way. Here goes Sanders for the kill at an exclamation point. 19-yard line. Cagley looking, firing to Holland in the end zone with the one-handed catch. Easton Holland on a Friday night. You got mossed.
And it scored 6 for the girls.
A little feedback on the way as Politi will put this one in the air. The Vikings looking for a reversal. They'll see that to Sawyer Hess. Hess makes a man miss, gets the 40. Special teams play. Sawyer, can he go? Oh, how do you do? Sawyer Hess takes it the distance on a little reversal. That goes 75 yards for a house call. With the serve, Broneski then will set it up right to Severson yet again.
B-set sends it on over, goes back row. Klusman's there to get it to her setter. And Ellie Lloyd has to go out of that right-handed spot, or right side position. Almost got her first kill from that position, if my memory corrects me. But we play on. Here comes Hubert. And again goes back and attacks Satchel. And that was just criminal.
Jump serve from the right hand. Shoots it across the line. Drive eats up Jaskin a little bit, though. Tracked down and then free balled over. Johnson back to Engel. She'll set in the middle to Egan with a swing smash.
Will Kirk able to handle that one. Good opportunity here for Sargent County, and Carly Cadoon capitalizes on a nice assist from the setter, Mallory Bogart.
Lavig jump serve towards Cambry Mount. And, that one destroyed by Little. Ricochets back over to the scorers table. My goodness.
Make it 4-0 or 3-0. Oster bumping over a free ball. Hall walked back, and it stays down.
Steck wide right. McMullen throwing this one, and the timing pass caught by Tanner Steck. Touchdown.
Coca to serve it once again. Serve, let's serve, ace serve. 3 straight aces.
She could put this one or seal this one here for Central Cass off the serve. That's going to go off a Differding, and that's another ace And that's the victory for Central Cass.
Saw the thumbs up. So we remain at 2-1. Big time slang from Taylor Sanders.
3 rotations. Black Cloud, block back. Black Cloud again. And this time she succeeds. And it's 4-3, Ada-Borup-West. Cougars serve across, pass up towards the net, block, sends it back down. Severson and Stunis.
As it's a fake punt, they'll give it up to the up to the right side, into the open field to the 30, to the 25. Stopped at the 20-yard line that time as the fake punt first down for the Tommies.
Or Ada-Borup-West leads in set number 1.
So here now, back up to the net and sent down right away by Adrina Egan.
Go back again with the serve. It goes back. Charlie Hallstrom will have it. Pass it up now to Mast and pushed across by Binkley. Cougars will have the bump set from Johnson going to Severson, down for a backline kill. Trying to get their offense going here, right side. It will be Sawyer Owens looking for the outside edge. Stiff arm, first down, 4, 50, 45, 40, to the 30, to the 20. One man to beat, cuts back, 5, diving at the 1. One solo to the left side. That's Ripplinger. They run the toss play. Read that time by the Borough defense. Brought down as Kazette.
Post-game report continues as our post-game report brought to you by Kurt Fillion, your wealth advisor with Friends in Investment Services. We got the head coach of the Mahnomen-Waubun Thunderbirds, John Clark Jr., joining us here following the victory over Ada-Borup-West today. Rays, boy, what a ball game. Your kids came out, and this was a pretty solid performance by your kids from start to finish. Your thoughts after this one?
Yeah, just like how we came out with focus and intensity and energy right from the start, like you said. And, you know, like I said at halftime, that it wasn't easy. That first drive, they made us work, but I thought our kids did a good job of just grinding out first downs and eventually punched it in and got the big turnover right away there on defense and dang near a scoop and score there for Logan. So obviously a short field there, punched it in, and then, you know, we just played with confidence from then on. And just like the speed that our defense played with today, I thought we were very comfortable what we were trying to do, and just, you know, played with speed and played confidently, and it was fun to watch our defense, I think. And, you know, offense, we made plays, but a lot of different kids had the ball in their hands and made plays, so good all-around team win.
You know, and you had different players that stepped up here on the defensive side. I thought Gavin MacArthur played great. You know, he came up with some big plays. Logan Abdu just about scored. I mean, just different kids, again, that step up and make big plays for you.
Yeah, I mean, and that, like, I mean, and I said, when you're playing fast on defense, good things happen, and Gavin certainly has speed. I mean, he comes off the edge pretty hard. He can cover, and once in a while we rush him, and, you know, with that speed, he gets to the quarterback a lot of the times. So, you know, and just I thought our coverage was very good. I mean, they just a couple little holes that they found, but for the most part, we had them pretty well covered and good pass rush, and I thought we did a much better job this game of containing and not running beyond the quarterback, and got a bunch of sacks for big losses.
You know, offensively, again, you know, your kids did a nice job of reading things. You know, Ada-Borup-West's defensive line is a physical, big defensive line, and your kids did a good job of working around them for most of the game.
Absolutely. They got some dudes up there. And like I said, it wasn't easy by any means. And they played a little different defense than they did the first go-around. And, you know, again, our kids did a good job of adjusting to that and taking advantage of some things. So, you know, putting up 43 points is a good thing, or whatever it was, 40-some. And, you know, obviously, if you shut them out, you got a good chance to win, Sean. So
don't you ever call me that again.
I had Tommy over there staring at me, so.
Doe eyes.
Some kind of eyes. I don't know. But, no, just like I said, I'm very proud of the team and the effort and the execution. And, you know, hopefully we can continue to do this another week.
You know, and you get a chance to go back to the Fargo Dome and play for a section championship, and you know it's that's what the goal is, to keep moving forward and advancing on, and another chance to to take that next step.
Right. And that's always a goal of the kids is to get to the Fargo Dome. And, we've been very fortunate that we've been there, we've gotten there. So our kids should know the routine. And I know one thing, we'll have a battle over there. We've got a lot of respect for that Red Lake County team. I heard they won. So, that will be a battle over there and a very, very good high school football game.
Should be a lot of fun, Rays. I know, you have a chance to play back inside. So I suppose running in the gym and doing all those things like that, the kids just got to be excited for that chance.
I don't know that they're excited for that, Sean, but they are excited for the chance. So, like I said, it's awesome opportunity to go play in that place. It's neat and always fun to watch the freshmen who haven't been there down on the field. And we'll try to organize our little F-troop scrimmage at halftime of the game before so they get to tackle and block and have some fun on the floor as well. So looking forward to it.
Rays, I appreciate it. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you in the Fargo Dome on Thursday.
All righty. Thank you much, Sean.
You bet. Head coach of the Thunderbirds, John Clark Jr., joining us here following the victory over Ada-Borup-West here, 43-0. We'll take a break, come back. We'll get into our sub and our energy player and all that stuff. It comes your way next on the post-game report.
Don't be fooled by that beat-up old cap. Its faded crown represents the tireless work of America's farmers and ranchers. Its sturdy brim, their dedication to providing our nation with a safe, affordable food source. So we'd like to tip our hat to them. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
Visit with Ryan Opdahl, your local Farmers Union Insurance agent in Hillsboro.
Stay up to date all year long with your live event from our social platforms with X, Facebook, and YouTube. From the latest coaches show to watch game broadcasts back on demand from earlier in the season. Search your live event on YouTube and hit subscribe.
Outside the three-point arc. Pick and pop here with Spaeth into the left side corner. Three, good.
For the complete and most up-to-date schedule throughout the year, head to our website at yourliveevent.com.
With our post-game conversations with the head coach of Ada-Borup-West, Janna, Engel. And Coach, congrats on the win. I joked at one point during the broadcast because you referenced it after the win over Keller Northholm. When the team is executing, it's a pretty easy job to be the coach of the Ada-Borup-West Cougar volleyball team that's on the floor. And I don't know, maybe you and your assistants got up maybe once or twice?
Yeah, there was just a couple times.
Sure.
Besides in excitement for how well we were playing.
Right.
Yeah, there's just a couple plays and a couple blocking schemes that I needed to point out because we switch blocking.
Sure.
So I was just like, oh, where is she? You need to move over.
Team executed really well tonight.
Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah, that was the first thing I said when we huddled after the match. I said, "Way to execute a scouting report," because they just did a fantastic job. Not only watching film on their own, watching film with us, knowing some of the tendencies that Red Lake Falls was gonna. Their scheme anyway, what they were going to try to do against us, and I thought we just played very well, and yeah, just it made them in an uncomfortable spot, Red Lake Falls, in some uncomfortable situations that I think kudos to our girls for doing that, and yeah, and then when we pass well, I thought we passed very well, and we can. We're dangerous when we can pass well.
And it showed. I think I had Melena Severson for 10 kills in that first set. After that 9-9 tie, there was 9 ties in that first set. It was tied at 11, I guess, the last time. And from there, the kids just had it. And Red Lake Falls now, again, they're very athletic. They dug up a lot of things, but they don't have that block that other teams may, including your next opponent. But kids found it and executed. Did what they needed to do.
Yeah, exactly. They knew what they needed to do, and I think you'd be kidding yourself if you weren't a little nervous when it's 0-0 first set, neutral court, the crowd, the bleachers are full. If you're not a little nervous, there's something wrong with you. So, I thought the girls did a really good job maintaining some of that nerves the first few points, and so let it go back and forth. That's fine. They didn't get on any runs. which was good, while we were nervous. And then I think it just settled in, a couple big Molina kills. And I think that just kind of eases everyone into like, okay, yep, now we're playing our game. So
they've been executing really well. You need that execution as you get ready for the next couple of days in preparation for a section final. Last year came up short against Gitson County Central. It was not the matchup that you were looking for on that night. Sacred Heart and Ada-Borup-West played back in September, and it was a whale of a match. Everybody left that night thinking, wow, this could go to another rematch sometime.
Yeah.
Here it is for a section final.
Here it is.
You got a chance to watch Sacred Heart tonight, and they have not lost since that outing when you guys matched up and took them down at your place back in September. So they're going to be a hungry volleyball team, and I'm sure you're gonna have to put together a scout to see that one.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they're pretty similar to us. Two really good outsides. We have two really good outsides, and yeah, it's going to be who can execute those other things. So not just a kill on the outside for us or a kill on the outside for them. It's going to come down to I think a play here or there in each set that doesn't necessarily involve the outsides, and I think that's going to be the factor on Friday.
Your seniors, they get another game.
Yep, another practice. To be determined on what to wear.
I was going to say what to wear Wednesday.
They couldn't pick anything in the huddle, so they'll have to Snapchat that out to the group. So
they'll figure it out.
Yeah,
it could be fun. There's a lot of neat things. You talk about the support. It was here again tonight. Both teams had a great supporting staff, crew, and crowd. But got to imagine your kids were extra motivated with the people that showed up tonight.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the community just rocks it for us, and yeah. Traveled here well. I thought, our 2 home playoff matches, stands were full. Hoping Friday. I know it's Halloween.
Everybody can bring costumes.
Bring your costumes here, and hope for a big crowd again Friday. And one away.
One away. That's the goal. I think it's been 7 years. If I'm trying to remember right, because Ivy Johnson
was a senior.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Eleanor was like about half year old or something like that. That was like my first outing as a dad. Now I got this. I mean, so I'm just saying I'm remembering these things.
Mm-hmm.
They're all showing up in the old memory banks.
Oh yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, and the girls want it. They haven't seen it. None of these girls have seen that. They've been down to the Minneapolis-St. Paul area watching as an elementary kid.
Right.
But they want that for themselves, and they're hungry, and they're gonna do everything they can on Friday.
Well, Coach Engel for Ada-Borup-West, thank you for the time. I appreciate it. Congrats to you and the team on getting back to the section final, and best of luck on Friday night. We'll see you there.
All right. Thank you.
It's Janna Engel, head coach Ada-Borup-West Volleyball, joining us post-game coaches' comments from Rivers Edge Insurance Agency in Hallstead.
Live, work, and play here in Hillsboro, North Dakota. The Hillsboro Economic Development Committee can assist you with information and support for business and housing. Experience Hillsboro. More at 104.
Join us here from Northern Cass for our senior spotlight is Chloe Hall. A little bit of everything here for Chloe, and that's always a good thing when it comes to different activities within the school and also outside of the school as well. Chloe, we'll start here with just the sports side of it first, then get into more of the theater and some of the other things that you're able to do. The girls' golf season for Northern Cass, just how do you think everything went for the team here this past fall?
Yeah, no, this was actually a great season for Northern Cass. We beat a few records. We won a tournament, and also there is a bunch of upcoming middle schoolers that are so good and will definitely be very good for the team in the future. We lost 3 seniors this year that have been very good for the team in the past few years, and yeah, it was a great season for us. Yeah.
As what's one thing about golf that you really enjoy that you think you take with you, into your normal walk of life, so to speak, once you get off the golf course?
I think for me personally, it's golf has always been very included in my family. So I joined golf because I really wanted to connect with my brother and dad who golfs a lot. And then it ended up it ended up being such a big part of my life after that, when I just started as, just for fun. So yeah.
Though before the interview, you mentioned you've been able to do some Trollwood, obviously some different types of theater with the FMCT, opera stuff at Northern Cast. So how'd you kind of just get into theater here, Chloe, and what just makes that world be something you want to learn more about and be more, immersed in, so to speak?
Yeah. I love the opportunities that I get at Northern Cast. Because it's a smaller school, we go between a middle school production one year and a high school production the next year. And so it really made me kind of branch out to have more opportunities. Kind of like I've gotten to choreograph the middle school musicals, which has been so cool. But then when I also have off time, when I'm not doing anything in Northern Cast, I've reached out to FMCT, FM Opera, Trollwood to kind of get those opportunities and meet more people for opportunities that I don't get at a Class B school. So
Yeah, let's talk about that. If
Yeah.
someone's in your own age and maybe they have a year off like yourself, or maybe they just want to branch out and do something a little bit different, how hard was it or how easy was it just to get involved in the local area arts, but also just kind of the theater in itself here, Chloe?
I think that it was pretty easy for me because, I with the help from my mom, I kind of just looked online a lot just to see who was, auditioning people, and it was kind of one more thing about branching out. It was scary because I've been in so many situations where I go into an audition room and I don't know anybody, and I just have to really put myself out there to meet new people and be willing to just put myself out there. Yeah.
Take us through future plans. Obviously, some stuff could maybe still change from now to when we talk to another month or a couple months
Yeah.
down the line here, Chloe. But what's something you're looking to pursue moving forward here at this time next year once you get to college?
Yeah, right now, I'm thinking about going to Concordia College, and I've really fallen in love with stage managing. Of course, I love being on the stage, but kind of being behind the scenes has been really cool. And to get some leadership positions in town, I'm stage managing for Jekyll and Hyde at FMCT, which actually has its opening night tonight. So which is really cool. So yeah, that's been really cool to do. Yeah.
For you, Chloe, when it comes to theater, sometimes it's easy to talk about sports, right? You have student athletes, you have coaches, you might have student trainers, or maybe student managers. So take us through the theater. What are some areas that you're able to learn a little bit more on stage, behind house? Take us through, is it lighting? Is it a production? Just take us through everything you've kind of been able to get your feet wet, so to speak, in theater.
Yeah, I think that theater is so special because it teaches so many skills that I feel like a lot of sports don't highlight. Like it's very team oriented, and I work like with lighting people, I work with backstage people, there's costumers, there's the directors, there's other cast members, just all putting together the same show. And with live theater, there's just so many things going on at once that it really just teaches about teamwork in a different light, probably more in like an actual work setting, a professional setting. It teaches you how to be accountable, and it teaches you how to communicate effectively and to really stick up for yourself. So I think there's a lot of things that theater teaches that people don't realize. So.
From there's a couple of questions from there that I'll go with, but the first one is there a particular play, act, a musical, something where you're like, I really want this particular role, or have been able to perform a certain role that you've been like, okay, that was really fun, that's what I wanted to do? Anything come to mind?
Yeah, definitely this summer with I was in Mamma Mia this summer at Trollwood, and I got to play Tanya in that. And she is always like, Mamma Mia has always been one of my favorite movies, and she was always my absolute favorite character. So when I saw that cast list of me being cast in that, it was just actually a dream come true. It was amazing. And then it just, yeah, I connect to her in many ways. So I really just got to like have my own personality, but just like totally branch it out. And it was such a cool experience. Yeah.
Is it something where it's outdoors? Is it maybe small stage? obviously, what's something you really like about theater? Obviously, it's intimate in its own right, but Blue Stem, so to speak, is a little bit different than maybe
Yeah.
in a one or two person act kind of a play where the stage is a little bit smaller, Chloe. So, what do you enjoy about just having those different opportunities?
Yeah, I like well, it's been different in a lot of the shows that I've done because I've been in shows where there's only we can only seat like about 100 people, so I can really like see like their faces and interact with them personally. But then at Trollwood, it's outside and we had about 2,500 people there every single night, so it was really cool to perform for that many people, but it wasn't as personal for the audience. So there's really pros and cons to every single kind of stage and type of performing. So yeah.
Why should someone go out for theater or just maybe go out for an opera, just something in the arts, even if it's not necessarily being on stage, or hey, they want to have a chance to be on stage, but you might be, so to speak, not a main lead, you might be someone behind the scenes. Why should someone just give theater a try here, Chloe?
I think everybody should give theater a try because people don't realize that there is something for absolutely everybody. For example, like Northern Cast is the middle school shows, and there is this one kid, he was like about in seventh grade, and he loved like working like electronics and coding and stuff. And he didn't realize that you can code entire, lighting things for each scene. And he's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool doing technical theater. And there's really something for everybody. Even if you like drawing, like sewing, there's stuff for everybody in theater. And it's like, I feel like when people think of like theater kids, it's always on stage, it's always acting, singing, but it's so involved with every single kind of area that you can possibly do in business and art and really everything, communications, everything. Yeah, it's
But full circle moment from just from the school perspective, from Northern Cast, what are you able to kind of get your hands wet, so to speak, at Northern Cast with theater, with the music program? Just what's something you're able to do just kind of every year here, Chloe, as you got ready for your senior year here?
Yeah, no, because it's like a smaller school, I've gotten to have so many opportunities that I feel like kids at Class A schools couldn't really get because I've gotten to choreograph a middle school show. We're doing High School Musical in the spring, and I think I'm probably going to choreograph that one too and act in it, which is something I don't think any other kids really get to do. And I also did a summer theater program, which I co-taught with Stephanie Cole. And that was just an amazing experience just to really get to work with kids and be in a teaching position, a leadership position, with still having my passions be involved with it. So at Northern Cast, I've really gotten to branch out and get to try new things that I feel like people my age usually wouldn't. So
I always ask different athletes this because some do, some don't, right? Superstitions when it comes to getting ready for a golf meet, as an example, or maybe in your perspective, getting ready for an actual performance. Is there anything when it comes to superstitions, as in the theater or something in golf that you had to do prior to a meet or prior you get to an act or a play?
this is gonna be so bad, but I literally can't go on stage without having drank like a really bad energy drink, like like it has to be like one of like the Bang energy drinks or whatever, like 200 ml, just so I'm like going crazy. Like I literally can't live without them. But then I don't drink energy drinks for literally the rest of my the rest of my life, except for when I'm at shows. So that's my ritual, is to chug an energy drink.
When did that start, or how did it start, so to speak, here, Chloe?
Oh, it started like in 8th grade, and I remember my mom being like, "You should not be drinking those." And I feel like it's just become ritual by now. I can't go on stage without them.
Final thing that I have for you, Chloe, what would be some words of advice? You kind of mentioned from a theater standpoint, but what would be some words of advice that you like to pass down if you were your 14-year-old self again, or just someone who's getting into high school for the first time and just branching out, reaching out to different things that you have the opportunity to do? What would be some words of advice that you like to pass down for the next generation coming up?
I think it would be, never categorize yourself with a certain like activity, even like friend group or mindset, because categorizing yourself is something that you should not do in high school, because you should always be branching out and trying new things because you're a kid. If you think you're a sports kid, I mean, and you've been doing that since elementary, just try new things. And also never be embarrassed. I feel like embarrassment is the one thing that keeps success from happening. And if you talk to people and be confident in what you have to bring to the table, that is the main point of success, I think.
Hey, Chloe, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck in all your endeavors. Still coming up here at Northern Castle, both side of the Jags as well, and looking forward to seeing everything from the theater perspective from you here down the line.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast here tonight. I'm Chase Miller. As always, the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show is brought to you in part by the Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation. There's more at Exit 104. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night and join us for another edition as we begin the month of November next Wednesday here for the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show.